Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are having a very serious topic today. Saturn is leaving Aquarius to enter Pisces on 6th of April. He will be staying there until end of spring of 2027. This is a very, very big event. As you know, Saturn stays in one zodiacal sign approximately 3 years. And he, as Lord of Karma, is certainly having impact on each one of us. I will describe what his presence into Pisces will mean to us globally. And also I will be looking in the 12 ascendants, what Saturn will bring to each of the 12 ascendants. Of course, I will be looking from sidereal and tropical perspectives, both perspectives, because some of you prefer the modern tropical astrology. Why I look into the ascendant? Because the ascendant is the house of life, describes us, you as person, and this is the most important point in the horoscope. Yes, midheaven is also important. Yes, the moon sign, solar sign, yes, but I do as the ancients did to start with the ascendant. I'm saying this because I had such questions somewhere in my channel. This is one thing. So we'll be looking at the 12 ascendants. Also, one note to make, important note. I will describe very generally the influence of Saturn on each of the 12 ascendants, but you need to understand there are really extremes with the influence of Saturn based on how he is placed in your horoscope. What is good, what is bad Saturn? I described in a video before. You can find this video on my channel. But just to tell you, classically, as you know, Saturn is a malefic planet, Lord of Karma, and he has other qualities which I will mention to you in a minute as an important reminder, because I do this often to describe the nature of the planets. But we describe from the idea, we depart from the idea that Saturn is malefic planet. How malefic? Actually, when we are ready with the lessons of Saturn, he's not that malefic. How he influences your horoscope in detail depends really on how Saturn is placed in your horoscope. So I will describe the areas of your life where he will have impact with his entrance into Pisces, but you need to keep in mind that it is very specific for each one of you, really very specific. Venus would be a little bit more understandable, easy to generalize. Jupiter you can generalize, even Mercury you can generalize, but Saturn you cannot generalize. Therefore, if you like to look at your horoscope, this we have to do as personal reading, and you can find, of course, my details under this video. Speaking about this, also brief announcement to make about the classes, the course. It is a course of 4 or 5 hours, which I'll be making on the channel of Astrology. It is a class of how to see your talents, your profession, your occupation in the horoscope, so that you can know which path to take. Sometimes this is very useful, especially for children. You can see in somebody's horoscope with certain protocol, let's call it protocol, of the ancients, using the fixed stars, using some cycles, time lords and cycles. You can see the talents of the person, even the talents in the past lifetimes, so that you know what this person will be good at in this lifetime. Some people are facing small moments of crisis. They don't know. They say, until now I've been doing this, but I'm not happy anymore with my profession. What shall I do next? And this you can see in the horoscopes. And this I will be teaching in 4 or 5 hours class on the organized by the channel of Astrology. If you're interested, I will place the link under this video, and she announced quite low price on this webinar. So this is under brackets. Now let's continue with Saturn. So I saying that how good, how bad Saturn is in the horoscopes, and before I describe briefly again his nature, I want to tell you a small story, or it's a parable actually, which I know from Master Bin Sadun, but it's a beautiful example of how Saturn works. And he gave actually this parable exactly in relation to Saturn. It is a short one, but very, very wise, I believe, to understand the nature of Saturn. So let me tell you, in old times, there was one village, and there were two neighbors. One was a stonemaker guy. He was cutting or working with stones, and the other neighbor was a saint. Both were very poor, but they were very good neighbors. So every time the saint would ask a favor from his neighbor, the stonemaker would always help him. So finally, the saint thought, this is such a good man, such a good person, and he's so poor. I will pray to God to improve his condition, to make him rich, to give him abundance. So he started praying. And then suddenly angel came, and he said, don't do this. Don't pray for the guy to become rich, because he's not ready. And if he becomes rich, this will ruin his life. But the saint said, no, he's ready. He's ready. You have to help him. He's such a good man. The angel said, okay, up to you. So he said, okay, show him this place there, where a big wealth is hidden under the ground. Let him dig it out, and he will become rich. This is what the saint did. He said to the stone guy, he said, there is the wealth, dig it out. And so it happened. He became very rich. He built a house. He made his own work. He became very rich. And then the stone man wanted to visit him. He didn't recognize him. He ignored him. He became he wouldn't be the same person as the person that was poor. So he realized, and he became very proud, or he would ignore his friend, neighbor, the saint. He became really totally different person. So the guy, the saint understood that he made a mistake. The angel came and you said, you see, he turned into evil man. He's not the good person that we knew. See what a mistake you made? He was not ready for this wealth. So the saint said, what shall we do? I will pray to God to bring him back into his initial status. So he did. And some things happened. The government turned against the guy. They took away his wealth, and he became poor again. And he started his old work, working with the stones. He started recognizing his neighbor again, and he apologized. He said, sorry, it was like the devil took my mind over. I was not a good person. I apologize. So the story is about not being ready for the Saturnine good influences, for the Saturnine wealth, because when Saturn is very well placed in the horoscope, people are very disciplined, people are very very organized, very moral, and really they receive the good influence of Saturn, which is allow to become rich. So Saturn, I will give you another example. Saturn is ruling India, and you see the extremes in India, very poor versus very rich. Saturn is ruling the Balkans. And we have here the same. So Saturn is really ready to give you the good influences when you are ready, when you have morals, when you see the guy was not ready, and the wealth destroyed his soul, destroyed his nature. So I think for me this story is very, well, I can't forget it. For me, it's very important. So I thought of sharing it with you since we're speaking about good and bad Saturn, and since there is a major event coming, Saturn entering Pisces. So before we continue with the 12 ascendants, which will be interesting, I believe, for all of you, 2-3 words about the ancient nature of Saturn. You would see him always. I'm looking at his I will place it, of course, also on the cover of this video. You always see him as Ninurta. He was really very large giant in the Sumerian pantheon, like a main deity of law, scribal arts. Not only Mercury is about the scribal arts, writing system, war, healing, hunting, and farming, because, as you know, he was ruling the irrigation systems. So he was depicted always as a warrior, very heroic, very, and protecting, because also the Romans later on chose Saturn to be their patron for his protective qualities. He is also upholder of laws and judgment. So he is part of course, of the Anunnakis, and he is a child of the primal gods. Very, very important. So he defeated the Anzu bird, which stole the destinies of the people, the tablets, the cuneiform tablets with the destinies of the people. So he defeated him. Therefore, he was considered to be very heroic. He was the giant warrior. So that's why he was honored for his strength, powers, warrior-like qualities, and he was protecting the king, protecting the empire. Therefore, in some of the cities, there was specific day apart from 1st of Nisan. Separate video I will make on 1st of Nisan, the Lunar New Year, the first day of the year, Nisan. So he was also celebrated in some of the ancient, it is Good Sisu festival. Also, he was invoked to bless the crowning of the king. Imagine what power he had. Also, he was also invoked to protect the king, protect not only the crowning, but in general, protect the empire, protect the... He was also celebrated in the agriculture festivals, because he was ruling the irrigation systems and the agriculture. Big importance of Ninurta. What else to tell you? This is very important. When he will enter on 6th of April, Pisces, he is entering Pisces invisible. What is he doing as invisible? He is hidden in the rays of the sun. He's in a too close proximity with the sun. He's invisible and he becomes invisible end of April. Saturn is invisible. When he will enter Pisces, we will not be able to feel, to experience his presence immediately, because he's invisible. It doesn't mean that he's not there. It doesn't mean that he doesn't influence our destinies, but he is descending into the netherworld, and his work now is hidden, not visible. Later, after April, we will know what he was cooking for us, really. So, what else to tell you? Yeah, he was and Leo, the main, divinity, was his father. So he is very, very important to rule in his realms. Of course, are mountains, rivers, and He was patron of many ancient Sumerian and Babylonian cities. Very, very important. His symbolism is the plow, and of course the Anzu bird, which he defeated for some reason, and he's mentioned in many agriculture texts. Okay, this is for the energy of Ninurta. He allows abundance or not. He opened the gates of the great flood. He could have not done it, but he asked by the main gods, the primal gods. He opened the doors, the gates, and he allowed the flood. So you imagine what a major importance he says on the karma of the people. That's why he was very much praised by the Romans. Also, you know, he was a titan in the Greek mythology, and there he was large, major titan. He was not God, but he was a titan, and he was Kronos, Lord of Time. All these qualities reached us, reached our contemporary times. This means there is such influence from Saturn. Saturn is in Pisces. What is he doing in Pisces? In Pisces, he is not exalted. He is also not fallen. He is what we call peregrine. He is not strong, not exalted, not fallen. Is he strong in Pisces? Let me tell you. When we look at the hierarchies on the sky, the zodiacal belt is above Saturn. It means the zodiacal belt is stronger than Saturn. It means that the Pisces fixed stars, which form the two fishes, Pisces, are more influential, more powerful than Saturn. It means that his nature will be a little bit suppressed. But Pisces energy with Saturn becomes a very interesting, also transforming combination for the world and also for each one of us. Let me tell you how I see this. Pisces is still very important for the collective, because we still live in the era of Pisces. 12th house of the zodiac. This is the difficult karma of the collective, the bad karma. This is disease. This is about spirituality, yes, because Pisces is so empathic, so spiritual, so deep, so emotional. This is also about disease and healing. This is about the soul. This is about the I mentioned awakening, but I will also say this is our secret place. This is our deep emotional state. On the body parts, these are, of course, the feet. Pisces is not over yet. It is exactly related to our time. It is related to water, destructive events, natural disastrous events. It is, you see, Pisces has so many, Pisces as ruled by Neptune certainly can be related to the divine love, which Neptune is representing, but also to dishonesty, deceit, illusion, if you really do not harmonize with the high vibrations of Neptune. So this is also Pisces. This is the Christian impulse of Neptune, the Christianity impulse. What will Saturn do there? Yes, he have his role to transform, to bring the karma, because he's karma lord, but he's not stronger than the Pisces energy. He can introduce a little bit of disharmonious and destructive energy, but not enough, because the beginning of every cycle is showing how the cycle will look like. And I tell you, from the first day of his passage into Pisces, Saturn is meeting the retrograde but still visible and exalted Venus there. And this is a good sign Venus is very powerful because she's exalted there, and he really loves Venus. He really cannot go against her wishes and desires. He loves Inanna, he loves Ishtar, he loves the sweet energy of Venus. That's why Saturn will not be very, very powerful in Pisces, but he will bring dose of disharmony, which would say that these lofty ideas of the Pisces empathy, also the Saturn in discipline, the Saturn in time, structure and orientation will be a bit disturbed, destroyed. So people who have strong influence of Pisces, but I will see this when we look at the 12 ascendants, will certainly their energy of positivity, lofty ideas, dreaminess also will be a little bit disturbed. Saturn can bring worries and depression. If you allow that, if you really do not harmonize with the higher vibration both of Pisces and Neptune, because Neptune will also be in Pisces when Saturn will enter, and later on 12-13 July there is exact conjunction between Saturn and Neptune, which is also life changing, life transforming. I already made a video on this. So the Saturn in energy there can also bring this difficult emotions like depression, worry, constant state of worry, bad dreams, some natural disasters, some diseases. This is possible, but he is not powerful enough, especially not while he is invisible, until end of April. I'm not saying that he's weak. I'm saying that he will manifest his energy and the events that he's promising to us later, after 30th of April. All that he means, agriculture lord, could be that we will have issues in the agriculture fields with watering, with disturbances in the waters, like water disasters. Could be also that Saturn in Pisces is not supporting anymore the building business, real estate business. If real estate business was really flourishing from 2021 when he entered Capricorn until now 2025 when he will be leaving Aquarius, these businesses will not be thriving anymore so much with Saturn in Pisces, because he's weak and he's ruling them. So if you're planning really to invest in such businesses, you need to check very well the every movement that Saturn does, and when he will be in Pisces, he will be weaker and will not be supporting so much these businesses. Stones, gemstones, the trading, mineral stones, this also will not be so much supported unless they are somehow related to water. Stones which would be found in the oceans, for example. I don't know, I'm just telling you that the classical stonework, building work, real estate, property business will not be really flourishing anymore so much, at least until Saturn will be for the 3 years until the spring of 2027 in the sign of Pisces. He can bring depression if you're not connected with nature. Remember, he is the Lord of agriculture. Remedy for Saturn is always to work, to do agriculture work. This is a remedy which I always recommend because it always works. Just try to think when you are sad, Saturn can bring melancholy and depression. When you have some of these feelings, imagine what is happening when you start planting, when you do any agriculture work, or you hug a tree, or you just connect with the ground, because he's the agriculture lord. Don't forget, this is very important. So this is a little bit about the energy of Saturn, and now I'm thinking if I Later on, if more things appear in my mind, of course, I will share them with you. And now I will tell you about the 12 ascendants. Okay. Indeed, I forgot something important. So he's entering Pisces on 6th of April, and immediately he's meeting there Rahu and Venus, immediately. And Mercury. So the four of them, in a later degree, in the 6th degree, is Neptune, and in the 22nd degree is the Sun. But more interesting is the Saturn, Mercury, Rahu, Venus conjunction. In this very moment, on the 6th of April, Venus is preparing to become direct. This is a very good sign, like an omen. It says Venus is really there to help, to soften the energy of Saturn. Let's not forget, the beginning of every cycle, according to Hermes, is describing how the whole cycle will be looking like. So Venus is there to support us, to give blessing, to soften the energy of Saturn. So he is meeting also Rahu. This is very important, life-changing. Changes Rahu, Saturn together. Hopefully Venus helps. She does help. She will help. Rahu, Saturn together. Trining also Mars at that moment. Mars will be in Cancer, but when very watery situation, you see, everyone is in water. Even the moon that day is in water, because the moon will be in Cancer with Mars. So very interesting beginning of the cycle of Mars. When Rahu and Saturn are together, this is always very revolutionary. This will change also the course of the current routine in the world, organization of the world, if you want. This will be about if the current status of the war is such at the moment of his passage into Pisces, it will turn upside down and will be totally different. You see how significant this is. So you will see different. This may eventually calm the war situation, especially the one in Ukraine, the one who occurred first. In addition, there will be change in the approach to spirituality, to healing, and also to Christianity in particular. There will be change. I hope this doesn't really I hope this will not be really afflicting the Christianity. This doesn't cause harm because of Saturn into Pisces. But even if it does, it will not be absolutely able to destroy the most potent philosophy. I'm not speaking about religion, philosophy on the planet. But there will be such attempts of destruction and disharmonious energy towards Christianity, replacing them with some other belief systems. This is also very possible. But Venus is there to bring love and to calm and to bless and to suppress the negative energy which Saturn otherwise can create. I like the fact that Mars is forming a trine, and this will be fine at that time for the war situation in the world. Not yet for the war situation on the Middle East, because there the war started with different cycle. But also there will be a change in the scenario there. Calming, it will be more in the Ukrainian scenario, because we see finishing of the Marshall cycle for the Ukrainian scenario. So saying this, let's look at the 12 ascendants now for people who have sidereal ascendant Aries or moon in Aries, or if you follow in modern tropical astrology, this will be Taurus. For you, this interesting, situation is happening in your 12th house. How to read this? Well, this will be very important for your spirituality, for your awakening. It may also mean that you may need to be more cautious and careful and responsible for your health, careful with hidden enemies. You may need to be really careful with enemies, your trust to people, but this can be benevolent for your awakening, finding the truth. Saturn for you is is ruling 10th and 11th houses. This could mean change in your work, interest, career, routines, a lot. His cycle is a 3-year cycle, so also later on when Uranus will enter your second house, this can indeed have impact on your finances. So this will be quite changing a factor, especially after the summer of 2025. Now for people who have Sidereal Ascendant Taurus or Moon in Taurus, this is more like a relief because Saturn was 3 years on your 10th house, quite afflicting your ascendant, your descendant. Now when he will enter the 11th house, he will not be afflicting and so much your ascendant, your relationship. He may bring change and you may see the true face of people who you call friends, and he may bring change in your finances. You may see, especially after end of April, like new connections, new changes in friendships. He also would say that you may need to be a little bit more attentive with your children because he's transiting through 11th house. So your communication with your children, to emphasize on that, is also very important. But I think Saturn in Pisces for you is better than Saturn in Aquarius. Now we look at people who have Sidereal Ascendant Gemini or Moon in Gemini, or for the modern tropical astrology, this would be Cancer. For you, Saturn will be on your 10th house. This is a little bit, transforming, interesting, because this is the place of your career. There also you have this important conjunction with Rahu, Ketu at the moment of the entrance of Saturn into Pisces. This would say you may have transformations in your career. You may need to be, especially around April and especially after the summer, 12, 13 July in particular is important. You may experience important changes. It would say be diplomatic, be very careful in your career place. Yes, this is the main area of change for you, and also finances, of course. Now we look at people who have Sidereal Ascendant Cancer or Moon in Cancer. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Leo. For you, Saturn is entering your 9th house. He may, in the beginning, cause some disturbances in your 9th house, which is study, philosophies, belief system, travel, also your media work. There you may have a little bit of disharmony, and you may need to become very organized, very disciplined, especially when it comes to studies. Saturn may introduce a little bit of transformation and delay there until it gets better. So you may need just to be very, spiritual, intuitive and disciplined in order not to have difficulties because of his passage through your 9th house. And now we look at people who have Sidereal Ascendant Leo or Moon in Leo. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Virgo. For you, Saturn will be transiting through your 8th house. He may have impact on finances related to partnerships, unexpected sources, insurances, inheritances, whatnot, the money of your partner. There he may cause eventually some changes, which, whether he will be strong enough to cause you disturbances in the financial flows, probably not, but some changes, yes, he will be able to create, especially for your partner or from money via partnerships. Could be that he makes. So therefore, when you make financial decisions, especially, after the summer, during 12, 13 July, be careful how you make your financial decisions. Make sure that you're very organized, that you check every paperwork and so on. Now we look at people. Also, Saturn can a little bit disturb your sleep and also bring you some bad dreams. Therefore, connect with this energy of discipline, or connect with the nature, and I think you will be fine. Now we look at people who have Sidereal Ascendant, Virgo or Moon in Virgo. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Libra. Now for you, the Saturn is entering your 7th house. Venus is softening the situation a lot, but still, especially after 30 April, he may test your relationships, your business even, your partnerships. You may need to be very diplomatic and careful there, especially in personal sense. He may bring some cold water in your romantic life. Therefore, be patient, be intuitive, and it will be okay. But he will be testing mainly your romantic life. Now we look at people who have Sidereal Ascendant Libra or Moon in Libra. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Scorpio. For you, Saturn will be transiting through your 6th house to change your routine, to change your approach to health. He may challenge a little bit your health. So you, especially in the summer, late spring, you may need to be particularly responsible for your health, but also he may open amazing doors, show you insight, like show you information or related to health and healing. And yes, you may need to be a little bit more careful with people who share your routine, your colleagues, for example. Now we look at people who have Sidereal Ascendant Scorpio or Moon in Scorpio. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Sagittarius. For you, Saturn will be transiting through your 5th house. Now, this is actually interesting because on one side you may feel that you do not have the impulse or the muse to do creative work, but on the other hand, if you manage to remain disciplined, you will be able to reach amazing knowledge, amazing creative information and knowledge. You may need to be a little bit more structured in your artistic or creative work in order to be able to continue with your projects, let's say. But in terms of quality of Saturn in the 5th house, this is the house of the good fortune, so I don't think that he will be really very harmful for you. But be a little bit attentive with children. Now we look at people who have Sidereal Ascendant Sagittarius or Moon in Sagittarius. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Capricorn. Now for you, Saturn will be transiting through your 4th house, Be a little bit more caring with your mother, parents in general. He may cause changes in your home, property situation, any thing involving property, real estate, home, relocations is very possible. Reorganizing of your home, replacing business to your home. All this is very possible to happen. Not in a very harmonious way, but if you're very disciplined, well organized, actually it can be even good, but it will be strong. Like this, there will be a change in this area of your life, especially after the summer, more towards the summer indeed. Now we look at people who have Sidereal Ascendant Capricorn or Moon in Capricorn. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Aquarius. This transit is taking place in your 3rd house. Make sure that you remain loving, patient with brothers and sisters. Plan very well your travels. You may be a little bit losing interest temporarily, only temporarily, to travel. Make sure that you plan very well your media work, your communication negotiations too. And also make sure that you remain very disciplined in your studies, that you manage to complete your studies, because Saturn can create eventually some delays. When you negotiate, also make sure that you're very well prepared. Now we have people who have Sidereal Ascendant Aquarius or Moon in Aquarius. If you're following modern tropical astrology, this is Pisces. Now for you, Saturn is very important. He's leaving your ascendant to enter your 2nd house. He may bring some financial changes, temporary delay, but not really much. But maybe when he leaves your ascendant, it will be a little bit of relief, because depends, of course, on how Saturn is placed on your ascendant. It was probably heavy 3 years, a little bit heavy 3 years. So now his energy is shifting into your second house, where you have the finances situation, and there you may experience some changes with possible initial delay, but later on after the summer you experience changes. This may also cause activation of situation like communication with unresolved matters with family members, family roots. There also you may need to remain very diplomatic. And now we have people who have Sidereal Ascendant Pisces or Moon in Pisces. If you're following modern astrology, this will be Aries. For you, all this is happening right on your ascendant. Big shift, big change. In the beginning, it may feel heavy. After 30 April, yes, it will be heavy. A very much bringing changes in your desires, may a little bit test your relationships, your partnerships. Could be that you feel temporary melancholic. Don't be. Just make sure you do some agriculture work, do some, work in your garden, connect with nature, because melancholy is possible. Don't allow this. You can easily replace melancholy with connection with nature. Saturn can also be very helpful to make you more interested in agriculture, even in herbal work, in stones, let's say, minerals, healing. He can bring a lot, and only good if you really manage to tune into his high vibrations, connected to the energy of Pisces. It could be something good. He may really bring changes in your desires, occupation, relationships, especially visible after the summer. Make sure that this all turns into something good. It depends on you and how you really tune into these energies. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was about Saturn. I think this will be important. Next 3 years, very different from the previous 3 years, previous 6 years, if you want. Very different. You will see, we are noticing more and more, because before we wouldn't be paying attention, but now we pay attention more and more and more. You will see the face of Saturn in Pisces, and it can be something very good, very productive when it comes to philosophies, information, knowledge, healing, spiritual awakening, and so. So this was from me. I hope this was interesting. On 8th of March, I made the last Saturn Talismans, because while he was in Aquarius, and then it will be wait many years until he will enter a sign of dignity again. So if you like to see them, they are available on my website. I still didn't make separate video to announce them. I will do that. All the best. Bye bye.